Hey everybody, what's going on? Tim is here, and I am here with Brandon Bistar, one of our local heroes from South Florida. Locals here, one of my teammates, rocking the FF6 Ultros package.
It's the only FF6 card. This is just Ultros. This is FF10 featuring Ultros.
Finishing top 8 this weekend. What a big surprise for everyone. I think he couldn't believe it, but he definitely killed it this weekend, and so I'm here to show you the deck. Brandon, take it away, man. Talk to us.
Alright, so essentially this is a deck that focuses around sticking a very annoying body in the squid, aka Ultros. We know he's an octopus, squid. But moving on from it, the biggest key of the game is right here, our boss monster, the 1 CP Ultros. This one right here states that if it enters from the deck onto the field, I can choose one forward my opponent control, one forward in general, target it and place it on the bottom of the deck. Therefore, it's essentially the most annoying form of removal in this game, which is bottom of the deck, which means you can't draw it. It doesn't go to break zone, so all your break zone recursion doesn't happen. The only thing worse is RFG, but honestly, I feel like they're going to eventually add a way to get cards out of RFG anyway. So bottom of the deck, best way, make them have to play that Searcher again to get a card they already had. Now, how do we keep sticking this on the board? How do we keep making it efficient? Because it is only reveal the top 5 and shuffle your deck, so it's not a guarantee hit every time. We have the other boys on here. We have the 2 CP1 here. 2 CP1, when it dies, I can mill the top 5 cards on my deck after I RFG him, add a Ultros from my break zone onto the field. I run 11 of these guys. Odds are I'm going to have one in there. A lot of the times I'll pitch just to make sure there's one, and the one that's usually the pitch fodder is the 5-drop. I have not once, I think, in the 8 months I've played this deck since this guy came out, paid this CP cost. This essentially says play it for free. You play it off of either his own ability, off of this Ultros' ability, or off of this ability. You don't pay it for itself. And then this one is very frustrating for opponents to play around if they don't have break zone interaction. This one cleaves the board for 2,000 plus 1 for each Ultros in the break zone. So if you've got 4 of them in there, he's cleaving for 6. And if you've got 5, it's 7. But the really annoying ability this guy has is when he dies and enters the break zone, I can pay 2 water CP, go get a Ultros from my deck and place it onto the field tapped, which once again, bringing this one back up, go get this one, bottom deck, do its effect again, and if you hit one of these again, you just keep the loop going. Very frustrating for your opponents to play against once it actually gets going. And it's working well and fueling well, which it did this weekend. So now, let's say you run into Ice, or you run into any of these annoying decks that don't want to kill your bodies. Well, that's where we have the summon package over here for. The summon package over here, MVPs are definitely Famfrit here. Kill one of the Ultroses, kill one of your opponent's cards, go get another Ultros, put it on the board, and if you hit some of the other ones, that's essentially saying remove 2 cards, which is very strong, especially because one of them is gone in the break zone and one of them was one to the bottom of the deck. And this gets around all those pesky things that say target, since you don't target anything with this card. Another one, Atomos, Coors Light, key to the game when you go against Cecil. Once they play Cecil, if it's the only one that they played at Soiree, anything they're trying to get the Cecil to get value, to get Amber, to get Shinju, all that, good old Soiree jazz. You go on stack, Atomos, they don't get the tax anymore, they essentially just lost that Cecil, and you get a free 1-up. And just of note, we run 3 of this card. As you can see, Emo Tempest signed, the greatest version of this card. Priceless, you can never find it anywhere else. Don't ask John for signs, this is it. One of a kind, only mine, minted, gonna get a category 10, signed, all that good stuff. But that card right there is the key to the summon package, essentially making all these cards like Atomos, Famfrit. Those are the 2 big ones, Atomos and Famfrit. The fact that they cost 3 is very pesky annoying. Yuna goes, I just gotta give 1 to go get more. And that's very strong, 1 for 1, knocking out those guys' cards and getting around no target, getting around those pesky Cecil taxes, because do your taxes in real life, but in this card game, try and find a way to commit tax fraud. All right, now moving on. All right, we have Remora. Honestly, this one, I rarely do cast that from hand. There are times, but that is in line with this Leviathan here. You know, Lords of the Sea together like to bide together. That's the whole point. We like sea monsters over here. Leviathan, I'm going to draw 2, and I got to put one on top. A lot of the times I'm looking to put this bad boy or this bad boy on top because I do not want to pay 5 with Una or 6 not. No, that's too much CP, too much hand cost. I'm good. Too many people are making me discard. I don't want that. I like hand size. Therefore, you're going to do that, put it on top, EX burst hit, or a lot of the times if you can do it before combat at times too, depending on if you don't want them to swing too much, you can do this, scare away from certain swings that make you tap things when they swing because they don't want to lose their body. Or on attack declaration, if they have those pesky little Zidanes out there that like to rip cards or anything like that, you could play it, put a card you want to keep on the bottom, or put a card you want to keep on the top of your deck. Zidane's going to put it right back into your hand. You're not going to lose it. And let's see what else. And also it just helps on the fact that this deck runs about 20 EX burst. So having the ability to put EX burst in the deck is very strong. But another strong aspect of this card is sometimes you do get flooded with these guys in your hand. This card allows you to draw 2, and then you can put this one back into the deck, raising your hit chances again, bringing this back so it's not a dead card in your hand anymore. It's now refueling the whole plan of the deck. Another big aspect of this deck now that we've gone through a few of those is monsters. Monsters are key because you don't have a lot of forwards because there's 11 of the same guy. This isn't title. I don't get the privilege of just constantly getting to throw these on there. So Tross and Blue Rin, Honorary Octopus. So these guys are how you can push late game. Blue Rin, draw a card on entry, pays for itself, very strong, and can help in the end game when you need to just have a last push for damage, get their 6, activate them, swing for game. And then Tross is just also very annoying because they don't want to take you to damage 3 because having a forward that swings, bounces a card, draw a card, they really don't want that activated. And it's very good for the deck. Let's see what else we have here. This Leviathan here, very tricky card that people sometimes don't play around because that's kind of, since water has fallen off a little bit, no one really sees this one as much. But this one here, essentially, anytime, and it happened a lot this weekend where people were playing the new Warrior of Light, or just a bunch of ways to ping. You just pay 1, that ping will not kill one of your guys, or the fact that, you know, I can declare block, kill the forward, as well as having my forward live and draw a card is paying for itself is very strong. And it has a very nice little thing at damage 5, which is when I cast it, if it resolves, I draw the card, I'm not going to take 5, and none of my forwards can be targeted for the rest of the turn. Therefore, all those dull and freeze effects, all those annoying little removal or pesky little triggers here and there, that horrible card known as a twin in Palom, I believe it's Palom is the blue one. That card sucks, hate it, get rid of it, needs to be emergency banned. Yeah, that Porum needs to be banned. Stop blinking my cards, let them die. Helps you get around that. They will have to, in response, do that to do anything. And at that point, if they're in responding to this, you're doing something better than they are. Now we can go into the backups because forwards will be a little quicker. Backups, Yuna's a 3-of, most essential piece. A lot of the time, you can literally play this deck with just Yuna on the board. You don't need the others just help. Yuna is needed though. Without Yuna, you're not doing anything. You are mulliganing for Yuna or a way to get Yuna. And if you don't get any, go next. Next in line here is Waka. Waka's very strong as well. It's essentially another way that you can get another backup. It refills itself as well, and it's very strong in the fact that you look at the top 3 and it adds a water card. I run 49 water cards, so essentially it's impossible for him to miss. So it's very strong. The fact that it's any card too, that you don't have to worry about summon, you don't have to worry about it being forward only. It's like, what do I need in this situation? Waka can grab for it. Hilda's another one. Honestly, she's EX count, draw a card, but if you do ever hit that damage 5 threshold, there's a lot of strong cards to pick at damage 3 for her, at cost 3 for her to play onto the field. And Merwhip, same thing. It's usually for EX, but if you gotta play it, a lot of the times it just refills itself. draw 2, discard 1. You discard those Ultroses, add more to the break zone. Stronger board. And Cloud of Darkness is there for when you run into those pesky Soiree decks, you run into those pesky decks that just like to FF13, all these decks that are like, we put 6 forwards on the board. A lot of the time you're only going to have 1, or you're going to have 2, and one of them likes to die. So, very strong in that instance. They're going to clear, their board is going to be cleared. You're going to have an Ultros die. It's going to put the 1 CP one in. Target the forward that's on there that they decided to keep, and essentially now they don't have a board and you have 2 bodies and a backup. So that is the backup line. That's what it is. That's forwards 4. Kalmia was here earlier because mono water was prevalent last set, so I thought there would still be some water players. Didn't run into any, except for, no, I did run into one, and that was the one I lost because I didn't see this card. But this card here essentially turns mono water off. A lot of their cards say reduce. Kalmia is just going to go, yeah, you don't get those effects anymore. And with this little pesky man right here next to him and Yag Rush to say, Leviathan, you have to target me. They can't destroy anything on your board, and essentially are playing big vanillas. So, and then Yag Rush is obviously here for the fact that target him, not my other stuff. And then forwards, we've already talked about Ultros, which is a predominant list. We have the final list here. These forwards here, we have Titus, constant poke, constantly poking, very annoying for opponents to deal with. It's poking on a stick, along with the fact that if you target it, it's removal and card draw. This is a mot fodder. They're probably not going to mot anything else unless they have to. They're going to want to mot this because them losing a card and you drawing 3 cards is usually not fun. And a lot of the times they'll let them stick because they're like, we can take 3-4 damage, but then all of a sudden they're at damage 5 and going, oh no, he needs to go, but I don't want to give him cards. Porum, same thing. Essentially, this card here, if you didn't know, they eroded it. It says unblockable. No one wants to block this card.
Really?
So, essentially, Porum. I don't know if you can tell from all this over here, there's a lot of summons that people don't want to see me get back. Porum says, nah, chill, we'll grab them back and have fun. But it was a secret, insane card. It can make this deck turn a bit aggro because no one's going to block it. So now I have 2 cards that say unblockable. And if I hit a Famfrit or something off of EX Burst, I'm like, cool, I'll just get a summon back. You give me a card, I get more fun stuff to play. And then Lightning, actually MVP of the deck. You would think it would be Ultros, but no, this card right here has essentially won me most of my games this weekend because they got it going, but she was the essential push to win the game every time. Anytime people would play Toto, anytime when people would play mass board removal where Titus doesn't proc, or my Ultros ability, they'll still die when they enter and then they don't go to break zone, they go to RFG. Very frustrating for this deck to deal with. Lightning was just a constant ice swing 7. Do you have a response? No. Okay, pass. I will Lightning S skill on my on second main. She will come back. I now have a blocker. Or in instances where they have a full board, Lightning, break RFG that. S skill, bring her back, remove another one. She's removal and essentially has a nice little thing that lets her reactivate when you have Esco, which is why we run all these targets here. We have the Leviathan over here to allow us to keep getting her back. And same thing I said earlier with Hilda. You got damage 5, a lot of the times this is your target. Is RFGing, very strong mechanic, especially on those pesky cards you don't want to see. So, and then the last card, which is this Lightning here, EX Burst, very strong. A lot of the times you're not going to play her because you're going to want to use her for S skill here. But in the times you do not feel bad. She's a 9k body. The fact that when she swings, she can bounce a card. If you have Tross, that's draw a card. It's removal. And her 1 mana ability is insane for this deck. You pay 1, tap those blockers that they're trying to keep up. Tap Warrior of Light, that's the big one. That's what won me against Sam Prime. The fact that she kept telling Warrior of Light, no, you're not swinging this turn, and no, you can ping 5k, but whatever you kill, you're not going to like. So, the fact that she does that, and then you're like, oh, but she mills you too. I want to be milled. This cleave will get bigger, or I can now have more options for the summons I want to recur. So, she is a secret good card against specific decks, aka Soiree, and those annoying people that like to play Warrior of Light. And essentially, that's it. Deck is very fun. It is high rolly, but we attempt to mitigate it by putting a lot of ways to make the deck more efficient. But at the end of the day, if you whiff, you whiff. I ran hot this week. I got top 8. Like, I haven't won the locals or topped the locals in I think Opus 15. So I just ran hot today. I only ran into one local boy. Sorry, rest in peace. I did knock him out of the tournament. But other than that, I was able to succeed, get top 8. Had no plans on that. I honestly thought I was gonna go 1-6. So very good weekend.
That's how it is, Ben. Sometimes you got it, sometimes you don't.
Oh, I didn't even talk about Sildra. Do I need to talk about Sildra? I don't. It's on the ban. It's on the wannabe ban cards for a reason. So.
All right, thanks so much, Brandon. Well, I'll see you back at locals next week, buddy. Take care, man.